Hi, I'm Brian Litz, ballistician and long-range shooter. Got a couple tips for you today on hand-loading ammunition for long-range shooting. Okay, it starts with selecting components. It's pretty common for long-range shooting, for the rifles actually, to be concepted from bullets. In other words, you pick a bullet that is right for your application, and then you kind of spec the rifle around that. You pick a twist rate and a chamber and a cartridge that's going to shoot that bullet to its maximum potential. So when you're looking for a bullet to load and shoot for long range, you obviously want something with high ballistic performance, so you want a high BC. You want something that'll stabilize out of whatever twist barrel you have, or that you'll be able to get a barrel twisted to stabilize the bullet. And you want a bullet that's known for good precision. So once you've selected a bullet and you start to build your rifle and you can select your components around that bullet, the most important thing to remember in hand loading is consistency. Now, you're going to do some testing to begin with to see what combination of powder charge and powder type and seating depth give you the best groups and the lowest standard deviations in muzzle velocity. In other words, you want consistent muzzle velocity. Now, once you find a load that works well in your rifle, a mistake that a lot of long-range shooters make is that, it's not good enough that it's shooting half-minute groups, so they continually work and refine until they're shooting, just under half a minute and trying to get it to shoot a quarter-minute groups, and then they'll give up and start trying a whole other bullet, a whole other powder, a whole other combination. Now, that process can be very enjoyable for people who like to constantly refine and improve their loads, but ultimately when it comes to your success at hitting targets at long range, that constant changing from one thing to another makes it really hard to get familiar with one particular load in your rifle. So my advice for hand loaders who are long-range shooters is, if you can get your rifle, if you can get a load that's reliable and will shoot half-minute groups and it's consistent, you have low muzzle velocity variation, and you can take that load and you can shoot it in any condition, it'll work well, stick with that load. Load up hundreds of rounds, focus on practicing, focus on rehearsing the fundamentals of marksmanship, and the consistency that you're able to develop over time by using the same ammunition will mean more to your success in long-range shooting than refining a half-minute load down into a quarter-minute load. When you think about it, your targets at long range, you think about a 10-inch disc at 1,000 yards. That's a 1-minute target. That's pretty hard to hit. Now, your ability to hit that target doesn't improve very much if you can make your rifle group a quarter minute versus a half a minute. What's going to determine your hit percentage on a target like that is how well you can calculate an accurate fire solution and center your group on that target. So a lot of what people try to compensate for with precision of their hand loads, really they'd be a lot more effective if they focused on the fire solution and accurately centering the group on the target. And that's easier to do if you have one load that you use all the time, because over time it becomes more and more predictive and you can hit targets better, have a higher hit percentage through consistency. If you want to learn more about the elements of accuracy and precision, I've got a number of books on the subject that are written in layman's terms that are intended for the average long-range shooter to read and understand so that he can apply to his own long-range shooting and increase his hit percentage in the field.